We need to talk about the wild drama behind Jeff Bezos' wedding because it's a whole circus out here. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a mega spectacle. We're talking private yachts, celebrity guests, and a price tag that looks like it could fund a small country. But instead of being impressed, people online are roasting it hard. Folks are dragging the whole event, saying no amount of money can buy class. The heat is especially on Lauren Sanchez, her dress getting shredded, her ring clowned, and that's not even the half of it. Protesters showed up too. Yup, real drama at the ceremony, and the internet is eating it up. Now for those living under a rock, Jeff Bezos is the mastermind behind Amazon and one of the richest dudes on the planet. He stepped down as CEO back in 2021 to chase his other passions, like launching rockets into space. You know Blue Origin? The same company that wants to blast celebs like Katy Perry out of Earth? Yeah, that's all Jeff. And since stepping away from Amazon's daily grind, he's been living it up like a full-on Hollywood VIP. He's a regular at the Met Gala, Cannes, all the biggest parties. And he's been cozying up with the A-listers, Beyoncé, Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, you name it. The man went from e-commerce mogul to celebrity socialite overnight. Now back to the tea. His marriage to Lauren Sanchez has folks talking. The two first connected through work. Lauren was running Black Ops Aviation, a company that does aerial filming. Meanwhile, Jeff was diving deep into aviation and media through Amazon and Blue Origin. But here's where it gets real messy. In early 2019, Jeff and his wife of 25 years, Mackenzie, announced their divorce. And boom, right after that, the National Enquirer dropped a bombshell, leaked texts and photos exposing Jeff's romance with Lauren, who, by the way, was also married at the time to a Hollywood agent. Scandal? Oh, you bet. This whole thing exploded into a full-blown cheating scandal that had the press going crazy. And just when it couldn't get messier, boom. Lauren's own brother, Michael, got dragged into the chaos. He was accused of leaking Jeff's private texts to the tabloids. Talk about family drama. Jeff clapped back hard. He didn't just deny it. He came out swinging. He claimed he was being blackmailed, and even dropped a blog post accusing the National Enquirer's parent company of straight-up extortion. Yeah, it got that serious. But guess what? Despite all that madness, Jeff and Lauren didn't split. Nope, they went public with their romance and kept it pushing, stuck together through all the noise. Fast forward to now, and their wedding just went viral. But not in a good way. This Venice wedding was meant to be magical, but it turned into a global controversy. From the setting to the guest list, people online torched it. And the budget? That's a whole story on its own. Some reports say it cost $20 to $25 million. Others swear it was up in the $50 to $60 million range. And there are even wild rumors it cost $500 million. Forbes is sticking to $20 to $25 million, but either way, it was insane money being thrown around. The guest list? Packed with top-tier A-listers. But even with all the glitz, the backlash was loud. Venetian locals weren't having it. People were out here saying the couple was basically trying to take over the whole city. It was supposed to be a multi-day celebration with around 200 elite guests. And sure, Venice officials claimed they could handle it. After all, the city hosts huge events all the time. But the locals weren't buying it. Activists and residents said they were fed up with rich tourists causing chaos and felt like the city keeps selling out regular people just to cater to billionaires. The No Space for Bezos protest wasn't just a hashtag, it turned into a full-blown movement. Activists called out the local government, accusing them of letting billionaires treat Venice like their private vacation home. Officials tried to deny rumors that Jeff's team had locked down a massive number of gondolas and water taxis, but that didn't stop the protests. Activists plastered anti-Bezos posters all over Venice, even on famous landmarks. The message was loud and bold. Environmental groups also came out in full force, raising serious concerns. Right before the actual wedding, Jeff and Lauren threw a massive, ultra-luxurious pre-wedding bash in Venice, and that party rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. During the celebration, protesters scaled nearby poles and dropped a giant banner that screamed, "The 1% ruins the world." And that wasn't the only viral message. Another sign had people talking big time. It read, "If you can rent Venice for your wedding, you can pay more tax." Ouch. That one hit hard, especially with the locals. Many of them already feel like Venice has been turned into a playground for the rich, while regular folks get pushed further and further out. It wasn't just social media chatter either. Tensions were real and security was ramped up big time ahead of the wedding, with officials bracing for more protest action. Trying to smooth things over, Jeff reportedly made some donations to environmental groups. And in a move to keep the press happy, he passed out water and even ice cream to reporters waiting in the brutal heat outside. But let's be real. Free treats weren't enough to cool off all that outrage. People were still heated over how over-the-top this wedding was, and the whole thing left a lot of folks feeling like the billionaire bubble is more out of touch than ever. Okay, so no, Jeff's wedding didn't shut Venice down or block off the whole city. But that doesn't mean it didn't spark major frustration. For a lot of people, especially locals, this whole flashy spectacle felt like a slap in the face. Venice has been struggling for years. Sky-high living costs, packed streets full of tourists, and more residents being pushed out. So watching billionaires and celebs roll in like it's a red carpet event? Yeah, that stung. In a city already on edge, seeing all this luxury paraded around felt disrespectful. To a bunch of locals, it just looked like more rich outsiders flying into party, while regular Venetians deal with overcrowded apartments, rising rent, and neighborhoods turning into tourist traps. The whole vibe? Out of touch. And let's not forget, the internet had a field day with this wedding too. While the streets of Venice were buzzing, social media was going off. People dissected every little detail. Sure, Jeff and Lauren may have dropped millions on this wedding, but users were quick to say one thing: money can't buy taste. The most talked about moment? That floor. The wedding ceremony had a carpet that folks online said looked like a dull gray office rug. Straight up. People were like, "You're in Venice, one of the most stunning cities on earth, and the wedding floor looks like an airport hallway." It became an instant meme. Guests walking through ancient beauty, historic canals, and then stepping into a billionaire wedding with flooring that gave industrial warehouse vibes. People couldn't stop dragging it. People were shook. Social media went off the rails when they saw that gray, dead-inside-looking carpet at Jeff Bezos' billionaire wedding. One tweet that went viral said, "Millennial gray Amazon warehouse carpet at your billionaire wedding is an insane, dead-inside choice." Another user asked, "Everyone's talking about the outfits, but can we talk about the millennial gray hellscape carpet, please?" They were dragging it hard. Folks joked it looked like H&R Block tried too hard to impress moms on Mother's Day on a $50 million budget. Like, seriously, how do you rent out part of Venice and then roll out a carpet that looks like it came straight from a break room? People couldn't wrap their heads around it. Why, they asked, would Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez get married on top of a gray office carpet? And the jokes didn't stop there. Lauren's wedding look? That also got lit up online. She wore a custom Dolce & Gabbana lace corset gown and even landed a whole Vogue cover story. But instead of getting praise, the internet came for her hard. Critics were like, "It's so fascinating that you still can't buy taste." And then came another plot twist. Right before this wedding dropped, Anna Wintour had announced she was stepping down as editor-in-chief of Vogue, So of course, people ran with that. Tweets popped up like, "Oh, now it makes sense. Anna Wintour saw the wedding dress and said, 'I'm out.'" Another one said, "This had to be her final straw. She saw that cover and hit resign real fast." The timing? Too perfect for the internet to ignore. The whole thing had people seriously asking, why go this hard to rent out a literal island, then deliver a wedding that looks like it was decorated by the Amazon facilities team? One user even joked, "Did they just borrow carpet from an Amazon office?" Let's be real. Folks weren't just criticizing, they were outraged. One comment summed it up. "This wedding is hideous, like truly hideous, tacky, and classless." People couldn't believe how something with this kind of budget could end up looking so mismatched. The entire spectacle just proved what so many were saying. Money doesn't mean style, not a drop of class. That's what people kept saying about this so-called Amazon wedding special. It's like when folks with zero taste suddenly get a blank check and no one to say no. The whole thing looked like a billion-dollar fashion disaster. Lauren's wedding dress? People called it hideous. The makeup? Wild. And that same gray carpet? Still catching strays online? Folks cannot get over it. But let's talk about the ring. That enormous rock on Lauren's hand? It went viral in seconds. Everyone was like, "Yeah, it's expensive, but why does it look like it came out of a costume jewelry bin?" The thing was massive. So big that people questioned how she could even move her finger. "It's gotta be heavy," someone said, "and there's no way you can bend your finger with that thing on." It wasn't just over the top. It was cartoon-level flashy. And apparently, she had multiple rings. So now people are asking, is this her main one? Or just for show? Nobody really knows, but the internet isn't letting it go anytime soon. But wait, it's not just the fashion and jewelry getting clowned. The guest list had people scratching their heads too, because this wasn't just any 200-person wedding. This was Hollywood elite only. We're talking Sydney Sweeney, the Kardashians, Leonardo DiCaprio, the whole A-list lineup. If your name rings bells, you were probably there. But people were like, hold up. Jeff and Lauren are celebrating the biggest day of their lives, and the guest list is packed with celebrities? Where's the family? Where are the actual friends who've known them before the private jets and champagne yachts? One person summed it up perfectly. So you're marrying the person you plan to spend forever with, and not one real friend or close relative is in sight? Just cameras and celebrity clout? The whole thing had people feeling like this wasn't a wedding. It was a luxury PR stunt. And let's not forget the vibe of the whole thing, because even with all that glitz, people were...
Meanwhile, Greenpeace unfurled giant banners across St. Mark's Square, reading, "If you can rent Venice for your wedding,"
pointed out that everything seemed overly staged, almost like a photo shoot for a brand campaign instead of two people actually getting married. And the photos? Polished to the point, they looked AI-generated. Folks were saying, where's the emotion? Where's the authenticity? Some commenters went as far as calling it a billionaire cosplay of romance. Like Jeff and Lauren were just playing pretend at love, surrounded by camera flashes and designer labels. And that just made people dig even deeper. Like when your entire wedding feels like a PR move, can it even be called real? Meanwhile, the reactions from regular people, especially Venetians, kept getting louder. More voices jumped in, saying the wedding was a tone-deaf display of wealth in a world where so many are struggling just to pay rent. One post went viral saying, "Imagine flexing $25 million on a party while the city hosting you is fighting housing shortages and climate problems." It hit a nerve, big time. And while Jeff and Lauren were smiling for the cameras, the internet kept flipping every angle of their big day upside down. People were analyzing how Lauren posed, how Jeff stood, who sat where, what food was served. Nothing escaped the microscope. Even the music got roasted, with some saying it sounded like elevator tunes for rich people. At this point, it wasn't just people hating. It became a case study in how not to do a luxury wedding. From the carpet to the corset dress, from the over-the-top ring to the Hollywood-only guest list, the whole event became a symbol of what happens when money talks, but says nothing real. And just when people thought the drama might cool off, it didn't. In fact, things kept spiraling. A new wave of backlash hit when guests started posting their own behind-the-scenes footage. You'd think it would help humanize the event, but nope, it only made things worse. From awkward red carpet moments to robotic-looking toasts, viewers were calling it a billionaire-themed fashion show with vows somewhere in between. One clip went viral showing guests awkwardly sipping champagne while trying not to trip over that now infamous gray carpet. Another showed Lauren giving a speech that some described as like an influencer ad read with a bridal twist. People were like, did she just quote herself in her own vows? And then came the discussion about who wasn't there. Tons of folks pointed out how strangely empty the family presence felt. Like, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kim Kardashian pulled up. But where were the childhood friends? The cousins? The people who knew Jeff before he had a rocket company? People started speculating if this was even a real wedding or just an overproduced media moment meant to rebrand their image. Some joked it felt like a launch party for a new luxury product called Forever, sponsored by Dolce & Gabbana and live-streamed by Vogue. Then there were the body language experts online breaking it all down. TikToks and YouTube videos popped up with slow-motion analyses of Jeff's smile and Lauren's hand gestures. One creator said, "This ain't love, it's strategy." Others compared their interactions to scripted scenes from a high-budget reality show. And still, through all the chaos, Jeff and Lauren remained silent. Not a single response to the flood of opinions online. No clapbacks, no explanations, just more glossy photos and curated posts. And that silence? It only made people talk more. Because in the world of ultra-wealth, sometimes not saying anything says everything. It really had people asking, do Jeff and Lauren even have any real connections with actual people? Like, not industry folks, not celebrities, real relationships with people who knew them before the wealth, the headlines, the fame. Because that guest list? It looked more like a red carpet than a wedding. Oprah Winfrey was there. Gayle King. The entire Kardashian clan rolled through. Even Corey Gamble, Orlando Bloom, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Brady, Ellie Goulding, and yes, the lights girl herself. But the name that made people lose it? Sydney Sweeney. When folks saw Sydney Sweeney on the guest list, people were like, hold up, what? How does that even make sense? Jeff is what, like 40 years older than her? When do they even hang out? That's not your childhood friend, that's not your coworker, it's giving clout-chasing vibes all the way, and that's what had people talking even louder. The wedding felt more like a showcase of status than a celebration of love. Just a long list of A-listers sprinkled in for attention, like it was about who you could get to show up, not who really mattered. So yeah, this wedding had eyeballs on every corner of it. From the carpet to the dress, the guest list to the ring, people had something to say about all of it. And honestly, it says a lot when the thing folks talk about most after your wedding is how empty it felt. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? The wedding, the drama, the details? Drop your thoughts below. You know I love hearing what you have to say. Catch you in the next one.